Give me a little intro there, Gomer.
There's no turning back now.
Let's put on the show.
You're listening to the Station 71 podcast. My name is Mario, and this week I'm joined by my co-hosts,
Beth
and Brian.
So we've got some interesting news to talk about this week, which is kind of surprising. A lot of this stuff I really didn't quite expect to see just yet. And then we have a fun topic, so we're going to dive into the news real quick, and then we'll get right into that. First thing that we've got here is that after-hours fireworks test schedule for September 23rd at Epcot, which means at this point it's already happened. But it's interesting that they're starting to test the fireworks for Epcot, since that was one of the things that wasn't allowed to open. I don't know if this is testing for like Epcot forever, if they're just testing to make sure that everything's still working fine, or if it's like the new fireworks show Harmonious that was supposed to come out this year. Like, a lot of the articles that I've seen have been very vague about it, but it's interesting that we're starting to see some testing on those fronts.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see this because maybe it means they're bringing fireworks back sooner than expected. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but
I'm kind of hoping that it was more a test of like, let's make sure that everything still works, especially for, I mean, Epcot Forever is not as, I guess, effects intensive as like Illuminations was, but it's still probably good to run all of that equipment every once in a while to make sure that it still works.
Yeah.
True.
Especially if maybe they're planning to bring them back, then, you know,
I
you
feel
don't
like
want to have a misfire on the first night.
Yeah, and I feel like Epcot, out of all the parks, would be the easiest to do a socially distanced type of show because you could be standing all around World Showcase, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
We shall see.
Yeah, fingers crossed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this next one I thought was really fun. Disney has expanded the 4 cast member keys of training to include a 5th key. For those of you that don't know, during the training process at Walt Disney World, there are the 4 keys that Disney kind of, I guess, holds their cast members to, which is safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency. I think Kirsten's talked about that a few times. But now the 5th key is going to be inclusion, and I think that that's a wonderful thing. Such a good, I don't even want to say such a good move on Disney's part because that sounds bad, but like, I think it's good that they're putting
Addressing
that foot forward. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's good that they're reinforcing it, but also at the same time, I kind of feel like you're preaching to the choir almost, you know, like all cast members seem very good at that already. So, but it is good that they're reinforcing it. So,
right. And it's also like, if they're good at it, why not already make it a thing that they hold themselves to?
Yeah, good point.
I almost wish Kirsten was here so we could talk a little bit more about this because I feel like she probably knows a lot more about this than we do, but it's still really fun.
This is also what Keys to the Kingdom focuses on heavily. So
is it?
Yeah. So they go through the different keys and talk about each one during the tour. And the reason that it's in that order is because that's the order of importance. So you have safety first, then courtesy, then show, then efficiency. So I noticed in this article, it says that the hierarchy for inclusion hasn't been established yet. So I'm interested to find out where it'll go in the hierarchy. I would imagine between safety and courtesy, or between courtesy and show.
Yeah, I think safety, between safety and courtesy, makes the most sense. I think safety obviously has to stay first.
Right. But I don't know. I feel like, yeah, probably between safety and courtesy does make the most sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So next news topic on here, kind of a fun one. A new sense of aloha is coming to Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. I was not anticipating any sort of resort refurbishments anytime soon. But lots of interesting things coming to Poly. I think we also kind of knew there was a big refurb coming up here, at least like a revitalization thing. So did you guys get a chance to flip through this article yet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So lots of little things. I know the first thing that they're talking about in here is they are changing the panels by the monorail station. They're going to be more tied in with like the geometric patterns and colors that you would see elsewhere in the resort, which this picture that's in the header here kind of gives me a headache, and I really hope that they don't stick with those patterns. So that's the first big thing. They're also changing the sign in the front that welcomes guests to the resort. They're going to be adding some more gardens and changing the fountain up a little bit more. And then this is the part that's kind of confusing to me, because it talks about the, I guess, the central feature of the resort lobby. It says the open and airy design of the entryway will feature dramatic lighting elements, including beautiful chandeliers inspired by glass floats, fishing nets, and oversized bamboo elements. The new chandeliers will match the existing grand chandelier and the rest of the lobby, artful bridge, interior, and exterior spaces. So isn't that kind of what it is already?
Yeah, which I'm kind of okay with, because that is telling me that they're not doing like a completely different direction with the theming, which is good in my book, because I don't want to see huge changes come.
Yeah. And I think they learned from the last time the Poly got a big update that people weren't super happy with it. So
Definitely interested to see what the final outcome will be.
yeah. Well, that's our news for this week. I actually took a lot shorter than I thought it would. So let's dive into our main topic, one that we had a little bit of fun with the last time we visited it. We're going to do some 1-star reviews, or we settled on not 1 star, right? Like it can be anything.
Pretty much. Our only rules were that they had to be from 2019 or more recent, and just that's pretty much it. That's all we had to go with. Was just like find some reviews. Yeah.
I also before we dive into that, I'm sorry, we have housekeeping in here, and somebody tried to highlight that yellow while I was talking. So should I go over that, or do you want to?
I could do it.
Yeah.
We just wanted to give a very special shout out to our good friend Al for being a loyal patron and friend of the show, because we could not remember if we ever gave him his Patreon shout out, and he is very active on the Discord and in our community, and I felt like it would be very remiss if we did not make absolutely sure that he got his shout out.
Here.
Yeah. So how do we want to do this? Do we want to give the review and then try to guess what it is? Because I know that that's what we did on the last one. Or do we just want to give the review and talk about it?
Trying to think. With some of mine, it's going to be very obvious where they're from.
Oh, same. I think some of mine are very, very obvious.
Yeah. Maybe we can go, as we go, we can see if there are ones that we could use as a guessing game.
Well, yeah, okay. Here's a good one that I have that I don't know is going to count as a good for a guessing game. But let's see if you guys can guess where they're trying to review and how many stars they rated it. So this restaurant was reviewed as, "This is a very high-priced Chuck E. Cheese catering, mostly to rednecks. Imagine screaming children with overweight parents. Most of the 30-something fathers have long beards and baseball caps on backwards. The service is designed to turn tables as quickly as possible. The various offerings come at dizzying speed. The food is mediocre to barely acceptable. Save your money and sanity. Go somewhere else."
Man,
I'm not going to guess because I also had this review.
Did you really?
I did.
So I'm gonna say that if it is what I think it is, I'm gonna be very highly offended by this review.
What do you think it is, Brian?
Well, because when I hear redneck Chuck E. Cheese, I don't immediately think it, but the only connection I can make in my mind is Hoop-Dee-Doo.
It is not Hoop-Dee-Doo.
Thank God. I was about to have to track somebody down through Yelp.
You still might be mad though.
Uh-oh. Redneck Chuck E. Cheese.
Read the second paragraph again.
The service is designed to turn tables as quickly as possible. The various offerings come at dizzying speed. That's probably the only thing that you need to know that should give you enough of a clue.
The various, I guess, sorry, I'm still so stuck on redneck Chuck E. Cheese. All right.
It's a pretty good line.
Okay. So it's got to be somewhere quick service?
Mm.
What is that? Was that it? You're on the right direction or look elsewhere?
Not quick service.
It's not quick service.
I don't know.
Think of a restaurant that you would go to and you would leave absolutely stuffed with food because of how fast the offerings came out to you. Several different offerings.
That makes
I think this will make it a little more obvious. It's not in the parks either.
Okay, well, the only thing I think when a lot of food comes out quickly is like Ohana, but that's not redneck Chuck E. Cheese.
It's not, but that's what this person wrote the review about.
What?
Yes.
It's Ohana?
It is
Yeah.
Ohana. How many stars do you think they gave it?
Chuck E. Cheese. How many stars do I think they gave it? I don't know, because this person was obviously drunk, so they might have given it 5 stars. I would guess 2?
A little bit lower than that, Brian. It's a 1-star review.
Dang. I still want an explanation on redneck Chuck E. Cheese. I don't get it.
I don't feel like that's an accurate description of Ohana either.
No, it's not. But I thought it was fun. Redneck Chuck E. Cheese is something that I think I'm going to refer to Ohana as from now on.
No, please don't. Funny.
Does anybody else have one they want to throw out there?
I was trying to look through mine to see if any of them could be good guesses.
I have one that I go back to a lot, but I have to go find it again.
Well, while y'all are looking for those, I'll have one that does not require any guessing. I just wanted to throw this one out here because I don't know if they just copy and pasted this from some rant they had on like Twitter or Instagram or whatever. But I'll just read it in its entirety. Nothing like flying in to enjoy your vacation at hashtag Walt Disney World and start your trip at hashtag Animal Kingdom to only stand in line after line for rides that shut down, only to have to stay in said line to get out. Every single ride? Seriously? This sucks. We left so hashtag disappointed at the supposed hashtag happiest place on earth. Hashtag fail. Wish I could just post without stars.
Wow, they really thought those hashtags were doing something, huh?
Guess so.
That's funny. Can you click on the hashtag in a...
You cannot.
I was about to say, I feel like I saw a couple of hashtags and they were not clickable.
And I definitely tried to just to make sure before I made fun of this person, so...
Wow.
I'm still looking for my other fun one that I think would be a good guessing one. So if you have one you want to throw out there, Beth, by all means.
I have one that is about Walt Disney World in general. It's a 1-star review from Chucky C. Loved this place as a kid, but living here as an adult and seeing the leadership in Orlando and its biggest export, Disney, wow, gross. The place should be shut down permanently. The people are awful, hateful, and godless wackos. The only thing these scumbags care about is money, and they will break your legs like the mob if they have a problem. and hurt your family.
What?
See it for what it is. A giant money machine with outdated and poopy rides. Hope the new leadership from up north fix this poo hole.
The leadership from up north?
This whole review, I was like, what happened to this man? Did they hurt his family?
The mouse mop got a hold of him.
Right?
Here's a fun one this is the one I was referencing. This is probably my favorite like 1-star review that I've ever read about anything on Walt Disney World property. And anybody that has heard me reference this before will definitely know exactly what this is. This review says, I call it the poo-poo canoe. On top of being boring and panderous, the whole thing feels cheap until the character at the end. Nowhere close enough to flare it up to make up for the lack of substance. This land is teeming with life, yet here they've created something dead and soulless.
Poo canoe. Wow.
Any ideas where this may be?
Oh, I'm almost positive of what it is.
I'm sure you probably got it right away.
Yeah. Beth, do you want to take a stab?
Here, I'll send the review in our chat just so you can look at it again.
Okay. It's got to be Navi River Journey, right?
Oh, it most absolutely is Navi River Journey.
Once I read it again and I saw the character at the end, I was like, yes.
And this area is teeming with life. You know, it's not a badly written review. I don't 100% agree with it, but actually pretty interesting narrative they put out there.
Yeah.
I do think Navi River Journey gets like pooped on, for lack of a better word, pretty bad when it doesn't necessarily deserve it.
It's not a terrible attraction. It's just a disappointment after riding Flight of Passage.
Yeah, and that's fair.
I have one that is just there's nothing wrong with this at all. It's 100% somebody's opinion. They gave it 1 star, which I thought was a little harsh. But it just says, saw my first ever gator here, but I wasn't very much of a fan. It's very hot and the water fountains were very hard to find.
I had this one too. I love that.
So yeah, I love that they're like, saw my first gator here, but I wasn't a fan. And I don't know if they're talking about Animal Kingdom or that gator. Like, it's kind of mean.
Maybe both.
I feel bad for the gator, you know?
He's like, I was just trying to do my job. Speaking of Animal Kingdom, I have one that's a 1-star review that says, it's a great place to bring your family. Needs more rides though, because those wait times are ridiculous and I don't got money for Fast Pass.
Oh my god, another one of these. I didn't pay for Fast Pass. I came across so many of these.
Not only did they not want to pay for Fast Pass, they also said that they paid for a day pass at Animal Kingdom and were kicked out for a Halloween event.
Oh, I don't know if I saved this one, but I distinctly remember reading this one.
I was like, honey, what happened here?
Yeah, go through a travel agent next time because I think you need some help planning.
Yeah. It's amazing how many, and I know that we probably said this the last time we did Yelp reviews, but it's amazing how many of these reviews lean on the fact that these people did zero research before they went in.
Yeah.
So much of that. I've got a couple that I will share on that same note for sure.
Let's see. I've got more. I know I do. Here's one that maybe you can guess. Amazing atmosphere, but very expensive for tiny portions. Been twice, won't go again. It's a 2-star review.
That was not a lot of information.
I will say I could have wrote this review.
I think it sounds like Be Our Guest.
It most absolutely is Be Our Guest.
It's like small portions, really expensive, Be Our Guest.
Good atmosphere.
Yeah, that too.
Here's a great one on the topic of not doing any sort of planning ahead. This is another 1-star review for quote Disney Studios. It says, avoid Disney Studios until they figure out how to better accommodate guests for Star Wars rides. We drove up from Miami, got to park by 9 a.m., which, okay, that first of all, that's not good planning. I'm reading this quote for quote, and was told the Star Wars Rise of the Resistance was fully booked for the entire day. We needed to arrive by 6 a.m. to make a reservation. That would have been nice to know before I dropped $240 for 2 tickets. We expected to wait in a line, but never at the ride were a bit insensitive by our complaints. Again, I'm reading this verbatim. So they said we should have know through social media the process. Well, here's my review so others do not get screwed. Big waste of money, hotel, travel, parking, and park admission. We left within 30 minutes after arrival. Our only interest was Star Wars. One small bright spot, the guest service refunded our park admission, not parking, and we had to eat the rest of the trip expenses. Avoid Disney Studios until the novelty of Star Wars wears off, or be willing to arrive at 6 a.m. to wait hours in line to make a reservation. The Force has failed Disney this round. Guess we will have to watch Rise of Resistance on YouTube.
When was this posted?
February of this year.
Okay. So then no excuse. I went in February of this year and we got to the park at like 8:45.
Well, no, here's the thing that I have to say about this review. I feel like the bad review part of this is so unwarranted, especially because it says that they refunded their park admission.
Yeah, after
excuse me?
Like which I know this is they very much kind of just like, oh yeah, it was nice they did that. You know, this person was giving that poor cast member so much shit until they gave them a refund. This was not just like, oh, we just walked out and got a refund. I feel so bad for the cast member that had to put up with this.
Right. And that's the thing that, like, if they gave you your full park admission back, I think you have no right to complain about the fact that you went to a park and probably spent your entire day there still.
They said they drove up from Miami. That's like at least 3 hours. And then they spent 30 minutes in the park. Like, come on now. That's just awful planning. And then you're leaving 30 minutes after you get there. You're not even going to do anything there the rest of the day.
Right. Did you come up just for Rise of the Resistance? And if that's the case, you probably should have looked into Rise of the Resistance before trying to come up for it.
You would think. Yeah, they state that literally the only thing they cared about was Star Wars. So, yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous in the sense of, like, if they had gotten a boarding pass for Rise of the Resistance, were they literally just going to do that and leave?
Yeah, it's like they would have been in and out in 30 minutes regardless then. Or what were they going to do the rest of the day while they waited on their boarding pass? You know, they would have written a 1-star review if they were like, yeah, well, we got a boarding pass, but we didn't get on it till 3. So we didn't have anything to do between 9 and 3.
Oh, man.
People.
I think I can sympathize with a like a bad review that has a reason to be bad, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
I've had bad experiences at Disney. I think I talked about my horrible Via Napoli experience that I'm never going to get over. But like situations like that, I can understand. And I get why people would leave a review like that. But if it's something that you can control, that's when I have less sympathy for it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this is very much in this person's control because they didn't plan. They probably just said, oh, look, there's a new attraction that's opening up. Let's go for it. And the park opens at this time. Like, I think that they advertised how Rise was working pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. I just can't imagine the concept, unless the whole point of the trip, if you're going somewhere random and the whole point is spontaneity and you just want to do where the wind blows you and do whatever you come across. I get that there's a time and a place for that type of trip. Disney is not that place. Universal is not that place. Theme parks in general are not that place. I don't understand how people go into things that are heavily, I don't know, packed with stuff to do, and they don't do any research on it in advance.
I will say, if your only experience with a theme park is like Six Flags, that's something you could probably do with little to no planning because it's like a hometown amusement park. I think Disney being a destination makes it so that you should do more planning, but because people kind of feel like it's along the same lines until you get there.
Well, honestly, say that even if you like go to one of the bigger Six Flags, like Magic Mountain or over Texas, like one of them it's kind of known for having good roller coasters. I guarantee you, if you go there after one of their new roller coasters opens up, you're going to be waiting all day for that and not, be able to just hop on.
Right.
Well, yeah, but all I'm saying is it's a different experience, and I think that that's where a lot of the misconception comes from. Is like a lot of people don't know the scale of these parks specifically, even Universal included. Like you said, you kind of can't do them without planning anything, and a lot of people just don't get that.
10 seconds of research would make you realize that you need to do more than 10 seconds of research.
Yeah, you know that. I know that. The people that are writing these reviews most definitely don't know that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of people who didn't do any research before they left, I have a review, and I don't know if you guys will be able to guess what it is based on the description, but I can try and let you guess anyway.
Sure.
All right. This is a 1-star review. Never made it there. You must buy a ticket and pay parking to get there. It looks good on reviews, but it would be nice on their description to say you can't get there unless you buy tickets. We drove over to address and stopped at parking gate. It would be nice if they figured out a way non-Epcot people could eat there. I don't think there's any way you could guess what this is based on that description. But the fact that this person, it's La Cava, by the way.
Wait. What?
Yes, La Cava.
Yeah, that's not what I was gonna guess at all. They
thought
they thought they
I'm
could
just
go
gonna
to La Cava without getting a ticket to Epcot.
Apparently,
I'm confused and concerned.
It would be nice if they figured out a way non-Epcot people could eat there.
You mean the thing that's literally inside of Epcot?
Right? It's like, no, just let me in. I just want to go grab a drink at La Cava. I promise I'll come right back out.
Yeah. Like, would they expect them to even enforce that? Like, yeah, okay, cool. We'll just have this security guard follow you around for the next 2 hours and make sure you come right back out.
We have the resources for that.
Yeah. You and the thousands of other people that would like to do that in a day. Yeah.
That one was truly mind-boggling.
Yeah, that one's a little unsettling. I have this one on here that I'm a little mixed on because I feel like, I don't know. Well, let me just read it and we'll go. This one's a long one. It says, not happy with the resort. The resort is too spread out. You might be walking a good amount of time from the lobby to your room. The directions are very unclear as you are trying to find your room. You'll hear others as equally confused. Trying to find your room in the evening is impossible. Poor outdoor lighting. I need a flashlight. And tried to even get directions to walk back to my room, but the Wi-Fi wouldn't connect. It seems the prices are going up, but the quality is going down. Also, please take food and beverage with you in a check bag if you are taking a plane. The prices for snacks, beverages, and food at the resort are ridiculously expensive. I need to get an Uber to get snacks from a local Walgreens. When I arrived back at the resort, I asked bell service if it was possible to take the tons of bags delivered to my room. If I tried taking all of my groceries to my room myself, I would have had to take at least 3 trips from the lobby to my room, which is about a good 7 minutes. They replied that they could deliver it, but it would be a $6 charge. Not only this, but the plumbing was terrible. Taking a shower ended in taking a shower plus a bath, as well as the drains seemed to be clogged. The walls are thin, so you can hear everything. All in all, for the price, I will not come back. Sorry, resort. I really wanted to give this a shot.
Was this Port Orleans?
It happened to be Port Orleans.
Really?
Well, when they were saying that it was dark and hard to walk around, that's kind of what gave it away.
Yep.
But I also kind of hilariously pictured somebody like literally getting lost and like getting found the next day. You know, like,
the thing of this is, this was left on Port Orleans Riverside, which is a giant circle.
Right.
Jeez.
My God, can you imagine? Like, you hear about these people kind of getting like lost in the woods very close to noticeable landmarks, and then this happens, and you're like, all right, yeah, it could be a lot worse.
Lost in Alligator Bayou.
Gosh.
I will say though, like the problem with this is I don't necessarily disagree with a lot of this review, but I think a lot of that is what sells people on this resort.
Yeah, it's supposed to be secluded in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
But my other thing, the funny thing about this is I don't think that there is a room in Port Orleans that doesn't have a parking lot within about a 5-minute walk from it.
That I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, even the furthest ones, like some of the ones in the front half of the building, you would have to walk through, but even then there's always that through path. So I'm not sure if they just didn't realize that there was a parking lot nearby. Well, no, there are some rooms in it might be Alligator Bayou where it's like in the side of the building and you'd have to kind of like walk around to get to the parking lot. But still, even then it's like less than a 5-minute walk.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, people complain about this, but I feel like they're just expecting Disney to like have catered parking spots like for each room or something. It's like if you stay at any hotel, yeah, you have to walk to your room. You know, I mean that's
Yeah.
life.
I do think of the moderate resorts, Caribbean Beach would probably fit that spread out a little bit better. I hate walking around that resort.
I've never stayed there, but I visited before and I could definitely see that. And I know that Caleb stayed there and he had the same complaint that it's all really spread out.
It's all very spread out and it feels very samey. Like there are parts of that resort that I could walk through and feel like I walked through it already after wandering for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, because the sections, you know, at least with places like Port Orleans, you have like the mansions and Alligator Bayou and obviously French Quarter. You have Pop, which has all the different decades and different icons outside of it. Caribbean Beach, their sections are like Jamaica, like Monaco, or wherever the like the different islands are. It's like, yeah, but they all have similar architecture.
Yeah, that we stayed there one time and I honestly don't think I would ever stay there again for that specific reason. I felt like while we were walking around in the resort, it was like I could have been walking in circles and it just would have led me to the same place, because at least with Port Orleans, you have, like you said, differentiation in the architecture. Like you can kind of tell where you are based on what's around you. This one was just a giant beach with hammocks like everywhere.
Let me see. Oh, I have one that's kind of sort of related to yours that you just read, Mario.
Oh boy.
This one, judging by this person's review and picture, might be from a generation that is greater than ours. But let's see. My day was not magical as I was promised. There were not signs. There were not signs to direct you inside the park. I would love to hear from you, Disney, as I would like to really share with you how I felt. 1-star review if y'all want to take a stab where this was.
I have no idea. Is it a resort?
Mm-mm. This is one of the parks.
Oh,
Epcot.
Mm-mm.
yeah, I can see that.
I appreciate that you prefaced it by saying that it was a different generation because of the I would like to hear from you, Disney.
Well, it was just first of all, we get this has everything. We get the magic quip in the opening line. We get the fact that they got lost inside the park, and then yes, of course, they're writing on Yelp, assuming that Disney is going to see this and reach out to them and talk to them about it. Just hit all three.
If you ever want, like, Disney's probably not the place to get a response like that from, but if you ever want to respond on a site that any sort of travel company cares about, that's TripAdvisor, not
Really?
Yelp. Yeah. Okay. So I, for a very brief time in college, worked at a hotel doing overnight shift, and they actually would make us go on and read TripAdvisor reviews and then report them to the owner so that they could respond to them and like resolve the complaint.
That's cool that they did that.
It was interesting.
It care enough to like try to fix something they'd done wrong.
Yeah, and I mean Disney probably not so much because I don't know. Disney is also really good about their social media too.
Speaking of which, I actually found a place that every single review pretty much had the business manager respond.
Oh.
Which obviously you're going to be able to figure out where this is instantly.
Oh boy.
The pizza was good. Thin crust. Coming from New York. The server was friendly. One kid got the ravioli. She was not happy when they were purse-shaped instead of circles and refused to finish it. My 3 kids had Sprite, and shortly into our meal, someone came and poured water into them. So we had to flag down refills, which isn't easy with how busy it is on a weekend. Then the check arrived, and the kids were charged for sodas, as they are not a substitute. I asked them if they could receive the bottled water that is included in the price with a kid's meal per Disney website, but was declined because we already purchased the soda.
And they already drink it.
They're like, not only do we want to not be charged for the soda that we drank, we would also like a free bottled water.
Oh, goodness. That's got to be Via Napoli.
Yeah. So Fred B., the business manager, responded, "I'm very sorry to hear about your negative experience. Please contact me, blah, 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 blah." And I saw that type of response on almost every review, so...
Wait, hold on. Sorry about your negative response was on every review.
Oh, every bad review.
Okay, I was going to say, if he's just commenting that on every review, that's not a good one.
Probably not the good reviews. But my favorite part was the kid that wouldn't finish the ravioli because of how it was shaped. It was purse-shaped instead of round, so she refused to finish it.
If that's your complaint about Via Napoli...
Yeah. I don't think that one really warranted a 1-star review, especially because they said the pizza was good, and the only reason the kid wouldn't finish the ravioli is because of the shape, not because it was bad.
Yeah, their only complaint was they had to pay for something that they drank.
Right?
Well, the other thing of this is, if their kid's complaining about the shape of ravioli, that feels like something you should know your kid's going to complain about. Like, if they're picky about shapes of food, then why didn't you ask?
Yeah.
Sounds like a too bad, so sad, eat the ravioli or don't eat, kid. Like, it's a learning lesson.
My parents would have made me eat the ravioli.
Right.
Like, if it's bad, that's one thing. You don't force the kid to eat gross food. But literally, because it was purse-shaped? That is one of the dumbest reasons I've heard to not eat food.
You underestimate how picky children are.
I guess, but picky kids don't get less picky by not having to eat purse-shaped ravioli.
Very true. Let's see. I've got other ones on here. I love this one. Ready? Well, now we've ridden both versions of this attraction, the one in California and Orlando. Disappointed in the Orlando ride. Way too dark, and they need to change the light bulbs and the lighting. I would hope it would have been bigger and better since the property is huge. Nope, it was about 5 to 7 minute ride in the dark. Feels like it's time to update it to 2020 technology and make it an exciting ride.
I'm going to take a guess that it's Pirates.
It is not Pirates.
Oh.
And I think once I tell you what it is, you're going to laugh about this.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
I think that it's Haunted Mansion.
It is most definitely Haunted Mansion.
And I'm mad that they're mad that it's dark.
You know, I also wonder if these are like old people with cataracts and they need like medical help. And I feel bad for laughing at them. But
is your problem you can't see the ride or you can't see it all?
yeah. And also, I can't drive at night. It's like, oh, I think you need to go to the doctor.
You're going to blame Disney for that too?
I have, this is probably my worst one right here. And I feel bad because I saw the picture, I think, kind of really before I saw the review. And I was like, oh boy, just looking at the picture that this person posted as their Yelp profile picture, I was like, this is going to be good. And I said, you know what, Ryan, that's not nice. You shouldn't judge somebody based on their picture and assume that they're going to be snarky and uppity just because of that. And then
some people do have that face, though.
And
then you read the review and you were 100% right.
And I was 100% right, and I didn't feel bad at all because just preface this, she said some kind of borderline racist shit in this one, so I didn't feel bad at all for judging her. Appalled at how rude the staff was, rode the Expedition Everest ride on Labor Day 2019, and we asked the Asian girl at the front of the ride if we could be at the front, and she said no. Then we tried to just go up there, and she yelled very rudely that we have to ask to be in the front. I do not appreciate being lied to at a place we spend a lot of money to experience. Yeah. I don't even know where to begin with this one.
You asked, she said no, so you thought, I'm just going to do it anyway. And then when she yelled at you, you were upset?
Yeah. Yep, pretty much.
Jeez.
Disney.
And then I like, why were you even pointing out the cast member's race? Like, what does that have to do
Irrelevant.
with this? Yeah, like I'm automatically gonna think you're kind of a crappy person if you choose in a Yelp review to point that out. Like, anyways, yeah, I think I'm gonna send y'all guys this picture just so you can see what
please do. I'm very excited. Here's one that I think you guys will guess right away. We really wanted to like this. It has a lot going for it. Prime location in the park, a la carte menu. Pricing isn't horrendous as you might expect. Fortunately, there are a few glaring issues. Portion size for the fried mozzarella is laughably small, especially for $11. Chicken parm was cooked very well and was tasty. Unfortunately, the red sauce that came on the chicken parm was oddly sweet. I'm not talking slightly sweet, sweeter than normal. I'm talking somebody accidentally spilled sugar in the pasta sauce sweet.
Huh. Is it Tony's?
It is most definitely Tony's.
Right.
I was thinking Tony's too, based on the prime location and the types of food that you mentioned. But I mean, I gotta say that does sound pretty gross to have sweet marinara.
My thing with Tony's has always been it's really in the best spot, but the worst food.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's always been the issue is that, yeah, the food's bad, but the fact that it takes up probably the most prime locale for a restaurant in the Magic Kingdom is what really kills me.
Funny enough, I also had a Tony's review. Hate to say that this restaurant's reputation is pretty true. Cute themed place to eat, but the quality of food is very poor, similar to Applebee's. The restaurant is also very cold. I've been here twice, and yes, AC is nice when you're in Florida, but this is excessive. Now here's the part where I kind of rolled my eyes. I got the Caesar salad, didn't think anything of it until it came out and smelled fishy. I figured there must be anchovies in it somewhere. Caesar dressing is literally made with anchovies.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, that's funny.
But being so disgusted by the smell, I asked our waitress. She told me it also has fish flakes on it. And indeed, there was. Looks like literal fish food. I lost my appetite then. My fiance had gotten a chicken/roasted veggie gnocchi dinner that I tasted and also, to be honest, tasted horrible. Only good thing was that we had the bread that you get before your meal. Sadly, I will not ever go back to Tony's. Again, mostly understandable review, and she did give 2 stars instead of 1. But I thought that the Caesar salad anchovy comment was interesting because that's literally what Caesar dressing is made with. But I guess there was also fish food on top.
All right. I have one for a restaurant, 1-star review, and I want y'all to try to guess where it was.
Okay.
It says, food quality is subpar. I'm assuming it's subpar. Smelly, oily, overpriced garbage, long lines, not worth the time and money. Stand around all day for nothing. So,
It's got to be Magic Kingdom. Like the overview of a park or something.
So it's a restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
The stand around all day is what got me thinking it was like the overview of something.
I hate to say it, but it kind of sounds like Casey's.
Yeah. You know what? Now that you said that, it kind of does sound like Casey's.
I love me some Casey's, don't get me wrong, but you do have to stand there for what feels like forever.
Well, I can tell y'all that it's not Casey's, but I also do not know where this review was written towards because they posted it on Disney Springs. This incredibly vague review on a place that has, 50 or so restaurants?
Right.
And, yep.
So we'll never know.
So
it could be any number.
Review.
That's funny. Speaking of Disney Springs, I have a review, and I don't really know what this person... I think this person maybe was the same one that wrote your review, because I don't think they really knew what they were reviewing. The title is... This is from TripAdvisor. The title is Disney City Walk, This Isn't. Not close. So I was like, okay, maybe they were like comparing it to City Walk at Universal and saying it's not even close to how good City Walk is. But I read the review. What a waste. Add the terrible policy of paying $26 for parking and for the privilege of walking around a bunch of food joints and very little, actually almost no stores to visit was a joke. Well, you could take the free boat roads between the hotels and back. Whoopee! If you are lucky, the belt conveyors might be working after you paid your parking fee too. So moms with little kids and strollers, heads up for that painful walk. Yuck. My suggestion, head to Disney's City Walk for free and have more to do. Worst case is you'll drop the same $26 on some kids' toys. So I think they were trying to review Universal City Walk, but they ended up putting this review on Disney Springs.
You know, I feel like if I got so mad, it's something that I was going to go make a Yelp account and type out an entire review that would at least make sure I was putting it on the right place.
Right.
You would think, but a lot of these people also they don't know what they're in for or where they're at. Like, okay, here's one. And I know that, like, I'm going to tell you where this is right away because it's going to give it away. This is a review for Trader Sam's. And it says, the drinks were too sweet and way overpriced. $16 for a drink, mostly filled with ice and corn syrup, sugar water. And you can't even keep the theme mugs, which we'll just stop right there. It says the ambient decor is dated and they don't play any Disney music at the themed bar. I don't mind it, but heads up, they spray water at the bar when a particular drink is ordered, thus the quote unquote themed bar. It's a limited seating bar, so even if you want to drink and no food, you still have to wait 15 to 30 minutes on a slow day. The establishment is tiny. And I feel like anyone that knows where Trader Sam's is kind of knows what to expect with it.
Well, this is like, wow, I didn't like Trader Sam's for it being exactly what it's supposed to be.
Right.
A small
Literally everything
food
we love
bar.
about it.
Uh,
Funny.
So I spent a good bit of time looking through the Disney Springs reviews this week, and I've got a couple of these in here. I'm not going to read this entire one because it's incredibly lengthy, but I will pick out some minor points in it. But this is one that bugs the hell out of me. That you just go to Disney Springs and click on that in Yelp, and here's a review, and it says this is not for the Disney Springs in general. It's like, okay, well, first of all, stop. So find somewhere else to, voice your opinion or whatever. But anyways, just to give a short rundown of this, I think this was probably somebody's first time at Disney at all. It sounds like that they came in and they went to Disney Springs like the first day to buy tickets for the rest of their trip, which it seems very late for planning, in my opinion, but whatever. That's fine. Some people do it. Apparently, I don't know what happened, but they made this person reservations in Epcot, and then they bought their ticket for Magic Kingdom, though. So this very well may have actually been a cast member mistake that happened, but apparently this person then had to go to Epcot and get, the ticket changed from Magic Kingdom to Epcot. But of course, so I'm kind of following along with this at this point. I'm like, okay, you lost me here because you said this is not Disney Springs, and then you're doing this with something completely different. But then we get to this point, quote, then Disney gets all big brother and wants your fingerprints. How do I tell them, hell no, you may not have my fingerprint politely? Apparently there is no way to say this is a freaking amusement park. And if I need to leave and get back in, look at my freaking ticket. And there's no reason you need my fingerprint for that, end quote. The brainwashed look at you like you're nuts for refusing. So yeah. Again,
I feel like the brainwash look at you for refusing is because literally everybody knows you have to do it.
Yeah. And I love how I don't know. I screenshotted this. It was so long. I didn't even get the entire thing in the screenshot. So I just was like, you know what? I don't need the rest of it. But yeah, they're like, think they're so high and mighty that, yeah, I told them, but then they still went in the park anyways. So I know you gave them your fingerprint eventually.
I didn't even think about that. Oh, that's so bad.
True. That's funny. Also, little known fact, there are like certain occasions in which they don't make you do the fingerprint thing, and you can just request it. Obviously right now, because of COVID, they're not requiring fingerprints at all. But on a normal day, you just have to say, I'm not comfortable with that, and they take your picture or look at your ID. You have to show your ID every time or something.
Which I love how, I will not give them my fingerprint, but it's like, I will give them a close-up picture of my face with all of my details tied to it.
Right. You can't please everybody, I guess.
No. Did you have another one, Beth, that you wanted to go over?
This one, let's see. I feel like these reviews give away where it is. But this one doesn't. Here, I found one. This one's great. 1-star review. Terrible service. Manager called me a bitch because I asked for ketchup. Ridiculous.
Okay.
Super dirty, long lines, terrible food, very dirty, would never recommend.
This case?
Yes, it is. But I'm going to file this whole thing under never happened.
What?
The manager did not call you because you asked for ketchup. Yeah. Come on.
And honestly, if anything ever happened at a Disney park and I saw one of the cast members call someone else, I would be like, Yeah, they must have had it coming. There's no way.
Honestly, though.
Really? I feel like at that point, like you know that they're gonna lose their job. Like obviously you had it coming.
Yeah. And the fact is that yeah, they did. You were not just like, hey, can I get some ketchup? And they're like, oh, you know, like they were starting something else well before that. If this even happened, which I'm with you, Beth. I don't think this happened.
Also, since when can you not self-serve your own ketchup at Casey's? Maybe they were out. Who knows?
Maybe that's why they called them a bitch.
Maybe.
They took all the ketchup. Here's a fun one. Racist, stereotypical, uninformed, and nostalgic only if you miss the days when culture that mattered was Western culture.
All right.
I mean, it's got to be Epcot, though, right?
It is not Epcot.
What? Is it something
All right.
specific in Epcot?
No, it is not even in Epcot.
I know what it is.
Do you?
It's a small world.
It is definitely, it's a small world.
Okay. Well, I know that wasn't Epcot, but I do have a great Epcot one. It's very generic. So it could be anywhere, but I love it. I love/hate it. It's a 1-star review. Dude, this place sucks. Mickey Mouse is a Don't waste your money. The food's bad, smells bad, looks bad, is bad. This lady called Mickey Mouse.
I can't get over that.
Oh, that's fun. This was just like
Epcot.
Epcot, just in
Yeah.
general.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what? I have one I want to look up a review for now that I'm thinking about it.
While you're doing that, this might be my favorite one.
Oh,
that
no.
Is related to Epcot because it's a review for Living with the Land. It's a 3-star review. So she did give some credit, but this is what Marianne has to say. Yes, I'm reviewing a Florida location once again. I've been here many times. I know everyone loves Living with the Land. I tend to agree with one reviewer that it's boring. It's a place to kill time when you need a break from waiting in the long lines at the popular spots. The first time I went to Living with the Land, I was happy Disney was experimenting with ways to make more food to feed more people in a nutritious manner. Then, when I saw the huge oversized vegetables that looked like genetic mutations, I became disturbed. I'm wondering how unnatural growth can screw with Mother Nature's already perfect creations.
Uh-oh.
It's not up to me to advise you on the scientific activity going on here. If you want to learn and relax, then take the information in Living with the Land for what it's worth. As for me, if I ever return to the park, this will be one of the last places I spend my time.
Huh.
So,
She's mad at how big the vegetables are.
While you were reading that, I was trying to look up Imagination reviews, and it turns out that it's so bad that TripAdvisor doesn't have a section for it.
Oh my gosh.
Or not TripAdvisor, Yelp doesn't.
Wow.
All right. I have another good one. This is another one that was posted for Disney Springs, and the first line of this is, "This review isn't directed towards Disney Springs."
I love it.
Then why put it here?
Again, this one, I had to read this one like twice, and it didn't make sense. It's a little bit long, but I'll try to get through it kind of quickly. "This review isn't directed towards Disney Springs, but intended for the boat transportation. My 3 kids, wife, and myself, after a great day at Disney Springs, wanted to take the boat transportation from the dock by the boathouse to the dock by the Cirque du Soleil Theater." Okay, so just they were trying to get from one end to the other.
Which
So,
isn't hard. Like,
no, but again, it sounds like they just kind of wanted to take the boat. So in between, there is one stop at Port Orleans. This was a busy Saturday night, so there was quite the line to get on the boat from the boathouse area dock, which we waited and was happy to do so since the kids were pretty excited for the ride, which it's not a ride. It's like it's a boat. We get to the Port Orleans stop and we're told that we have to get off and wait in line again in order to make it to the Cirque du Soleil dock. I ask if he's seriously going to make my 4-year-old, 2-year-old, 6-week-old wait through an hour-long line after a 5-minute boat ride to wait another hour-long ride. I was threatened to have security called on me after that statement, which, again, I'm sure there was other escalation before that point. The night prior, Friday, we did the same thing, but were not asked to get off at Port Orleans. So my advice to you is do not rely on this as transportation, just a novelty, which it sounds like exactly what they were trying to do was take it as a novelty ride and not transportation. So that makes no sense.
Well, and my whole thing with that is too, the only time they would ever ask you to get off and get back on again is if it's a busy night.
Right. I was like, you get that, right? When nobody's in line, yes, of course you can just stay on the boat. But when you're using the transportation boats and you're just kind of like train hopping on the transportation boats, like, yeah, they're going to ask you to get in line so the people that actually need it for transportation can use it.
Hold on. Let's back this up too, because those boats don't go to both docks.
That's what, okay, see, I was wondering that too.
I should have known that, but I just had this sudden realization that like it only goes Port Orleans to Disney Springs, but it goes to both Port Orleans and not both docks at Disney Springs.
Yeah, which I don't, again, and here's the other thing is that these people say that like they go to like both Disneyland and Disney World like several times a year. So I feel like they should kind of know their way around places. So if they knew that the boat went from, the boathouse to Port Orleans before it went to Cirque du Soleil, surely they realized that they could have just walked there in much, much less time.
Yeah, definitely.
But also, I'm confused because it doesn't go to Boathouse.
See, I didn't think it did either. So
no, the dock the dock that it boards at is the one that's by the old part of the bus loop.
Maybe that's the one that they're thinking of.
Which is not. It's by the. Oh my gosh, what store is it? It's by the Christmas store.
Oh yes, that's way down. I don't know.
Sounds like they just didn't know what they were doing and
they're embarrassed by the boat ride that they had.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing too. Like, it sounds to me like they didn't really know what happened. Like you said, they don't really know where they were going. They got on the wrong boat, then ended up at Port Orleans and were told they had to get off.
Yeah.
Which, like, I would kind of be upset about that, but at the same time, there's signs everywhere that say that they go to Port Orleans.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any more reviews. If you guys have any other ones that you want to throw around.
Let me see. I saved off like 12 of these, and some of them I don't know if I want to do or not.
I have one for Be Our Guest.
Oh, fun. I love bad Be Our Guest reviews.
This is a 1-star review. Slop. Do you like slop? Surrounded by the noise level of a rock concert? Then try Be Our Guest for lunch. We barely ate anything. It was bad, salty, lacked any discernible flavor, cold fries, just all over very poor. The ingredients are cheap. The chicken tasted as if it were leftovers, and it was a waste of time. But the gray stuff was delicious. Otherwise, this would be a no-star review.
I
like how they turned it around at the end.
I absolutely don't disagree.
And how many stars was this?
1.
It would have been a no-star if the gray stuff wasn't delicious.
Mm-hmm. I have another Be Our Guest, unless you want to read yours, Brian.
Go ahead and do your next one.
Just since we're on the Be Our Guest train.
Yeah.
This is also 1 star. If Mrs. Potts paid a surprise visit to this sham of a dining experience, she'd turn into a tea kettle again just to douse the place with gasoline.
Oh.
We would have had better service if the Swedish chef had thrown fish at us from the chandeliers.
Oh my god! I'm sorry. Can I stop you for a sec? Do you actually have this review pulled up?
I have a screenshot of it.
How many do you have the person's profile? How many reviews has this person written? Because it sounds like the kind of person that's like, oh yeah, I'm a Yelp reviewer. Like,
84.
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. The raw fish projected at our faces would have been better than the plates of stale pastries and reheated quiches that we paid $28 for, just to be delivered sporadically from a myriad of confused servers. This person went into their word a day calendar.
They really did.
I get it. It's Disney. And who is better at price gouging you and sending you home broke and penniless than the happiest place on earth? You're feeding your eyes, not your mouth. Still, you'd think for a minimum of $28 a pop, not to mention a reservation made months in advance due to high demand. Which brings me to another question. Who the freak is demanding this place and what drugs are they on?
I agree with.
I mean, holy Tinkerbells, Batman.
No.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
How did you not lead with this one?
Even Taco Bell includes a fork and knife with the chalupas. By the way, if you're eating breakfast there, then you can forget about meeting the beast. He keeps his hairy butt away from the peasants who come around just to fill up on $28 donuts. Thanks for that one, Aaron.
They get a special shout out this week.
Holy Tinkerbells, Batman.
Here's one that I just looked up, and I want to preface this by saying this attraction only has one bad review on it, and this is it. I do not like it a little. If you're asking why I'm doing a 1-star review, it's because I was scared a lot by the lights and sounds and bright lights.
I kind of feel bad for them.
Any guesses?
Space Mountain?
It is not Space Mountain.
I think where else there's flashing lights.
I will say it did not say flashing lights.
Oh.
Bright lights.
Bright lights, okay.
I don't know if that helps you or hurts you at all.
I thought flashing lights too, that's why I
Well,
said
scared
Space
and
Mountain.
flashing lights makes sense, but
Can you read it again?
I did not like it a little. If you're asking why I'm doing a 1-star review, it's because I was scared a lot by the loud sounds and bright lights.
I have no idea.
I'm going to love reading this and revealing where it is.
Loud sounds and bright lights.
It's in a park, which should be obvious.
Sounds and
No guesses?
I feel like there are places with loud sounds and places with bright lights,
This
but I
better
can't.
not be for a fireworks display.
It is most definitely not.
Oh my gosh, if it was.
This review is for Muppet Vision 3D.
Excuse me? Bright lights and loud sounds for Muppet Vision. Wow. This person must live a very sheltered life for those to be the scary things. Wow.
I'm just impressed that that's the only bad review on here for Muppet Vision. Not to say that Muppet Vision's a bad ride, but like there are other things that definitely don't deserve 1-star reviews, and this one only has one.
That's sad.
Also, I want to throw out there that while I was looking for bad reviews, I searched entertainment at Epcot, and the Voices of Liberty had a perfect 5-star review, as they should.
Yeah.
I don't think they had a whole lot of reviews, but all of them were 5 stars. So
what you're saying is everybody go give them a 5-star review so we keep it up.
yes, exactly.
There's not really any bad reviews on Muppet Vision. They're like the 3 stars are just like it's pretty average. Let's see if there's a review for Happily Ever After. Oh, there indeed is. Let's see what the bad reviews look like.
It's all Kirsten.
This show replaced Wishes. Lowest rated and all right. Yeah, a lot of these could be Kirsten. My favorite starter sentence is Disney's Happily Ever After is best viewed in HD on YouTube.
Oh.
You'll see more of the PowerPoint projection, which threw up incongruous clips from Disney's newer movies. Better that way. If you try to see it in the parks, chances are highly likely that you'll have a cell phone or a child in front of you blocking the view.
Yeah, did that review get posted by like a share fan #1? Is that the reviews on that?
Here to make it even more Kirsten-like, there is absolutely no story to this show. Ironic, since Disney is supposed to be known as the industry leader for storytelling. Mickey is missing. Also ironic, since it all started with a mouse. The fireworks are just fireworks.
This is 100% a Wishes fan.
Disney cut way back on the aspects of the show and threw into the projections to save the cost. The fireworks are the same as you'll see as any county fair or 4th of July event, but Disney choreographs the projection and music with pyrotechnics and somehow wows the crowd. There are pyrotechnics in Happily Ever After. Disney has figured out that the crowd is easy to amuse with cheap tricks and totally left out a story. All in all, an experience worth skipping once you've seen it on YouTube. Go and enjoy the short cues during Happily Ever After. You'll be glad you did.
Wow.
I have one. Oh, go ahead.
I've got one. This one has a lot of snark in it.
Oh boy, I love it already.
My whole experience was ruined when my 4-year-old, who was dying to ride the flight of the whatever it's called, I can care less about the ride, was denied access even though he hit the 44-inch requirement on the dot. The person, okay, this is important to pay attention to. The person at the first check let us in and said, since he is close, they will measure again. So the second guy, I'm assuming this is when they actually got up to the final check to get on the ride. The second guy is trying to talk to a 4-year-old like he understands words like elevate and stand at attention. My wife and I put his head the way they want it because like everyone with small kids knows their attention span is very short, on top of 3 people telling him to do things in rapid succession. He tells my wife you can't hold his head. Why? He's not tiptoeing and he's where you want him. Instead, he moves him out of position and we start over. These are some of the dumbest group of people you will ever meet. What a joke. Now I have to explain to a 4-year-old that even though we spent the extra money for a stupid fast pass, again, doesn't happen, and still waited an hour, he can't go on the ride. This is all caps here at the end. Ridiculous. I will never come back to this park. We have been to all the other parks this trip and never had a damn issue with and of the 44-inch ride. I'd give this park a 0 star if I could.
I just love these people that give terrible reviews about the entire park is just worthless because I had this one bad experience at this one thing.
About a rule that is used to keep your child safe.
Right.
But I also love the people that are like, I will never pay for a fast pass again. And it's like, yeah buddy, that's good for you because you didn't before.
Me either.
That's the thing. Anybody loses any sort of credibility as soon as they put that in here because it's like, okay, now you know that they're just like going off about stuff and throwing things in there. So it's like, obviously we know that you didn't pay for fast passes. So everything else in here is very suspect.
Jeez. I have I have a review that I want to read, and I will literally I don't want to say literally give $100 if you can guess where this is, but I will be extremely surprised if anyone can guess what this is. The last 3 or 4 times I've been in Epcot, it has been closed. I've been at various times during the year, various days of the week, and various times of the day.
I would love for this to be a Captain EO review.
I was gonna say I would love for this to be like Wonders of Life or something.
Something closed, like
Yeah.
permanently.
Like Horizons permanently closed.
They just come in like every other week and go, "Ah, damn,
It's still closed. What's always closed at Epcot? You said it's Epcot, right? Or am I projecting? Because
No, it is.
okay. I don't know. I feel like once you say it, it's gonna jump out and bite me in the butt.
I don't know if it is, because can you imagine being so angry that you go and leave a 1-star review for Cool Wash?
What?
Yes.
What?
Literally a kiosk.
Get out of here.
Yes. I was blown away by this. I was like, this person really is like a Cool Wash stand?
Oh my god. I'd be more surprised if I went by and was like, oh shit, it's open today.
Right.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't think I've ever seen it open, but I don't even know what it is at this point.
Jeez. That's funny. That might be my favorite one tonight.
Yeah, I don't think I can top that one.
I think my favorite is still the one where the lady called Mickey Mouse and
We're gonna have a lot of censoring on this week's episode.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I feel bad for you, Mario, because
It's fine. I'm still not done last week's episode. Well, I don't have anything else unless you guys want to throw a couple more out.
I have one, but I don't know if I want to put it on the show.
Let's save it for post show then if you think it's inappropriate.